Kenya is rewriting its future. In 2025, the government unveiled a $4.2 billion bond to transform the standard gauge railway and Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Backed by domestic revenues, this bold move puts Kenya in control of its growth and could change Africa's economic landscape forever. Let us dive in to see how. Chapter 1: The Big Announcement. In early 2025, the Kenyan government unveiled one of the most ambitious financial blueprints in its modern history, a $4.2 billion securitized infrastructure bond aimed at transforming the nation's transport and logistics network. This strategic plan was announced under President William Ruto as part of Kenya's renewed economic revival and self-reliance agenda. The funds will directly power two monumental projects: the long-delayed standard gauge railway SGR extension to the Ugandan border and the expansion of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport JKIA in Nairobi. What made this announcement groundbreaking was not just the massive scale of investment, but the funding model itself. Unlike previous mega projects that relied heavily on foreign debt, particularly from China's Exim Bank during the first phase of the SGR, Kenya is taking a bold step toward financing infrastructure through domestic revenue securitization. In simpler terms, the government will borrow against its reliable income streams, a move designed to reduce dependence on external lenders, strengthen fiscal sovereignty, and build investor confidence within the local financial market. This strategy marks a new era in Kenya's economic thinking, one where growth is driven by internal resources rather than foreign credit. Chapter 2: The SGR Dream. The Standard Gauge Railway, SGR, is perhaps the most ambitious transport project in East Africa. Initially launched in 2014, the SGR was meant to replace the century-old meter gauge railway and connect Mombasa to Nairobi, Naivasha, and the Ugandan border at Malaba. The new bond allocates around $3 billion to complete this extension, integrating Kenya's transport system with Uganda, Rwanda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, forming the backbone of the Northern Corridor, East Africa's busiest trade route. If completed, the SGR will drastically reduce the cost and time of freight movement across the region. A cargo journey that currently takes 3 days by road could be completed in under 24 hours by rail. This would ease congestion along highways like the Mombasa-Nairobi route and stimulate industrial development along the railway line. Dry ports, industrial parks, and logistics hubs are planned for Naivasha and Eldoret, attracting investments and creating jobs. However, the SGR's early phases were not without controversy. The first stretch, financed through Chinese loans, drew criticism for high costs, limited profitability, and the burden on Kenya's national debt. The new bond approach seeks to revive the SGR dream responsibly, ensuring this infrastructure continues without pushing the country deeper into debt. Chapter 3: The Gateway in the Sky. Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, or JKIA, is the heart of Kenya's aviation network, handling over 7 million passengers annually and serving as a hub for flights between Africa, Europe, and Asia. Through the bond, about $1.2 billion will expand and modernize this gateway. Planned upgrades include a second runway, a state-of-the-art terminal, improved cargo centers, and upgraded air traffic systems. This expansion is more than a facelift. It positions Nairobi as Africa's next aviation hub, competing with Addis Abeba's Bole and Johannesburg's OR Tambo. Kenya Airways will benefit, as will the nation's tourism and logistics sectors. JKIA was previously linked to a controversial concession deal with India's Adani Group to privatize airport management. Public backlash forced the government to cancel the deal in 2024. The bond-financed expansion gives control back to Kenya, ensuring transparency and accountability in managing one of its most important assets. Chapter 4: How the bond works. This isn't a traditional loan. The $4.2 billion securitized infrastructure bond will be anchored on predictable revenue streams, meaning the government won't rely on general taxes or new external borrowing for repayments. For the SGR, the Rail Development Levy, RDL, imported goods, will serve as the dedicated revenue source. For the airport expansion, the Air Passenger Service Charge (APSC) collected from travelers using Kenyan airports will fund repayments. This structure ensures investors have a secure, transparent payback mechanism backed by sustainable income flows. It also helps Kenya avoid increasing its debt to GDP ratio, a key concern raised by the IMF and World Bank. Moreover, this model represents a shift toward financial innovation in African infrastructure, similar to securitization models used in South Africa and Egypt. By linking projects directly to revenue-generating sectors, Kenya hopes to strengthen investor confidence, attract local pension funds and international institutional investors, and create a blueprint for future public-private financing. Chapter 5. Why it matters. Kenya's public debt has climbed to over 70% of GDP, sparking alarm among economists and credit agencies. This new bond represents a pivot toward fiscal discipline and local empowerment. It signals Kenya's determination to break free from the cycle of dependency that has characterized African infrastructure finance for decades. If successful, this move could reshape how developing nations fund large-scale infrastructure without succumbing to unsustainable debt. Beyond the fiscal implications, the bond could redefine Kenya's regional influence. The SGR will link the Mombasa port to landlocked neighbors, boosting trade competitiveness, while the JKIA expansion will enhance connectivity, tourism, and investment. Together, these projects reinforce Kenya's role as East Africa's economic hub, anchoring continental trade and global aviation networks. Chapter 6. The Challenges Ahead. Despite its promise, Kenya's mega bond plan faces serious economic and operational risks. Revenue streams tied to imports and air travel are inherently volatile. Any global downturn, pandemic-like disruption, or geopolitical tension could shrink income available for debt servicing. Additionally, rising global interest rates and the weakening Kenyan shilling could make repayments costlier. The government will also need to address long-standing issues of transparency, corruption, and project management inefficiency. Past projects like the Nairobi motorway and SGR Phase 1 were plagued by cost overruns and limited oversight. Without strong governance, even a well-structured financial model can falter. Analysts caution that maintaining investor trust will depend on Kenya's ability to deliver milestones on time, publish audited financials, and manage funds transparently. Success would establish Kenya as a pioneer in responsible infrastructure finance. Failure could reinforce skepticism about domestic bond-driven development. Chapter 7. The Bigger Picture. Kenya's bond is more than a domestic investment. It's a signal of financial independence and regional transformation. By mobilizing internal capital through securitization, Kenya is showing that African nations can fund their own development without relying solely on foreign debt. If successfully executed, the SGR extension and JKIA expansion will boost regional trade, create thousands of jobs, and strengthen Nairobi as a continental logistics and aviation hub. Industrial towns along the railway could become new economic centers, while the airport handles growing passenger and cargo demand. Beyond economics, the bond represents a shift in Africa's development approach, emphasizing ownership, innovation, and sustainable financing. It sends a clear message: Africa can build its future on its own terms. For Kenya, success would inspire confidence in its institutions and offer a blueprint for other nations. In short, this bond is not just about infrastructure, it's about reclaiming economic freedom and proving that bold ideas, when executed well, can transform a nation and its region. Kenya's ambitious bond is rewriting the story of growth, a journey towards self-reliance, opportunity, and a brighter African future. The success of the SGR extension and JKIA expansion could transform trade, create jobs, and inspire Africa to fund its own development. What do you think? Can Kenya turn this bold plan into a regional success story? Comment below and let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories on Africa's biggest economic moves and future-shaping projects.